16.1 Testing a hypothesis about sleep deprivation. The current null hypothesis states that, on average, the three populations of subjects who are deprived of sleep for either 0, 24, or 48 hours will have similar aggression scores. The analysis of variance, aka ANOVA, is an overall test of the null hypothesis for more than two populations mean. One factor ANOVA is the simplest type of ANOVA that tests for the difference among population means categorized by one independent variable. ANOVA testing can result in two possible outcomes. Observed mean differences. 16.2 Two scores of variability. The treatment effect is the existence of at least one difference between the population means. In the sleep example, difference between means are too large to be attributed to chance. The variability between groups is variability among scores of subjects who, being in different groups, receive different experimental treatments. The variability within groups is when the variability among scores of subjects who, being in the same group, receive the same experimental treatment. The more variability between groups exceeds the variability within the groups. More suspect to the null hypothesis. Random error is the combined effects of uncontrolled factors on the scores of individual subjects. (16.3) The F-test. For three or more examples, the null hypothesis is tested with the F ratio instead of T. So F equals the variability between groups divided by the variability within groups. An F-test of the null hypothesis is based on the notion that if the null hypothesis is true, both the numerator and the denominator of the F ratio would tend to be about the same. But if the null hypothesis is false, the numerator would tend to be larger than the denominator. If the null hypothesis is true, F equals random error divided by random error. If the null hypothesis is false, however, the F equals random error plus treatment effect divided by the random error. The decision rule is that if you reject a null hypothesis at the 0.05 level of significance if F is greater than or equal to 5.14, and you get this from the table C, appendix C, given the degrees of freedom between equals 2 and the degrees of freedom within equals 6. For the calculations, F equals 7.36, and you can look at table 16.3 and 16.6 for additional details. The decision reject null hypothesis at the 0.05 level of significance because F equals 7.36 exceeds 5.14. The interpretation is how hours of sleep deprivation affect the subject's mean aggression scores in a controlled situation.